Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening. Welcome to being here wherever you are on our amazing planet. I am Ariel.
I am Shia.
Together we're the Canes, and we do finish each other's sentences.
Yeah, sometimes we Simo speak.
We do. Done.
Done. I finally understand what that check is before
It's like check,
done.
mark.
Like you've checked it off your checklist
Your
of
to-do list.
to-do list,
Right.
right? Done. Okay.
Normally this time of year, Shia and I offer a transformational time and project management course, and we're not this year. Instead, we are offering a leap into life because we imagine things are opening up now and we're all leaping into our lives. However, people still seem to struggle with accomplishing things, not feeling stressed, to-do list. So today we're going to relieve you of stress, and we're going to do that by starting with listening. Because as you listen, you get here, you get in sync, and before you know it, projects are easy. Knowing what to do next becomes obvious rather than a thought process. The tendency to resist what you're up to or what's being requested of you falls away. And you're here, you're being here. And it's all through listening. Listening to what's being said, listening to the ambient sound in your room, listening.
And listening isn't thinking. Listening is using a whole different set of senses to hear what's happening rather than think about what's happening. You know, we all have these amazing minds, and you can have in a nanosecond a very lengthy conversation with yourself. Oh, by the way, a nanosecond is what? A billionth of a second?
Yes.
Something like that. Very quick moment. And you can get so lost in your thoughts about what's being said that you don't actually hear what's being said because you're busy seeing how to fit it in with what you already know or believe to be true or false, as the case may be. And you're not really here. You're one step away from the moment.
Well, that's easy because you're applying this to your agendas also. The moment we say the word to-do list, you are likely to flick off to the items that you have on your personal to-do list. Your mind springs off like a pinball machine to this, to that, and bump, bump, bump off the bumpers. But you can bring yourself back to here. You can bring yourself back to listening.
You know, on the very corner of our video screen, there is a high intensity picture of fur. Actually, it's a little piece of the head of our cat. And it is so amazingly interesting that I can get lost in looking at that in an instant because it's so unique. You know, it's this blow up of fur.
So you may get pulled away by something visually or internally. And the moment you notice it, just gently guide your attention back to what's right in front of you.
Now, if you use, well, you can't really, can you?
What?
Use your eyes.
Well, you can use your eyes.
Well, is this a video?
No, but I mean,
it's going to be a video.
We may at someday release it in a video, but I don't think so. But you can close your eyes, but you can also use your eyes to bring back your, you know, because when you're thinking,
your
tend
eyes go to
go
middle space
they
or
don't-
up to the top of your head or wherever it is that you store your information.
you know, Sean and I accomplish a lot in any given day. And we've discovered that there's the possibility of not necessarily having to schedule a time frame to complete things. And now I understand that a lot of you work in an office setting
And deadlines.
and have deadlines, or if you have children, obviously you can't say, well, I'll pick my child up from school
When I do.
when I do. There's certain timeframes for activities that each of us do. Like I couldn't say, I'd really prefer to tune in to being here at 1 today rather than noon when it's scheduled for noon. But at the same time, there's the possibility of allowing yourself to trust yourself to complete things as opposed to force yourself to get things done.
Well, look, most of us don't like being told what to do by anybody, including ourselves. So when you tell you to do something, something in you rebels. And so you call it procrastination. I call it, don't tell me what to do. I'm doing it my way, which is not whatever I'm being requested to do.
By yourself or by the outside?
Yeah, that's right.
We had our friend Lenore over the other night. Shai went out fishing. She and I went out for a walk and did some shopping. And when we came back and got all together, we were preparing a meal. And there came a time where I said, oh, Shai, can you give me a hand with something? And I don't even recall what it was now that I needed his help with. It might have been reaching something in a cupboard I couldn't reach, or picking up something that was too heavy for me. I don't recall. But Lenore, after Shai came, did the activity and left, she said to us, do you realize how unusual you two are? And I said, no, what are you talking about? She said, you said, Shia, can you give me a hand with something? And he immediately dropped what he was doing, and there was no lingering or complaint or rolling his eyes, or it was as if it was an immediate yes without the hesitation that has been programmed into all of us. And that is a really unusual thing for a lot of people, but it certainly is a lifestyle that you can cultivate should you wish, where you're responsive to your environment, which includes yourself and the people who populate your environment. Should we take our first?
Yeah. Did we talk about listening?
We did.
Sort of. Anyway, if you truly listen, it's not about agreeing or disagreeing with what's being said. It's about purposefully, intentionally being here to hear what another person has to say. Not to see whether you agree or disagree or already know it, but to hear it from their point of view.
You know, it's possible that you're listening today and you are a longtime listener of this show. We're moving up on 15 years worth. We've been doing our seminars since 1987, so we've been at it for a while. So it is possible that we'll be speaking about themes today, or even using clusters of words that you may have heard something like in the past. But if you're here, it can be new. We don't have to all know it already. We can create it together and discover what's possible, rather than have this moment be same old, same old.
I love that.
Let's take our first guest.
Yes.
Hello, Michelle. Tell people where you're zooming in from.
Hi, Ariel. Hi, Shaya. I'm calling in from New York City.
Literally, New York City, on the streets.
On the streets, yeah.
I know you guys can't see him, but he is sitting in his car. It's alternate side of the street parking. So he cannot park in his car in case they need to clean the streets, but he can sit in his car. It's called standing, and he won't get a ticket. So welcome to being here.
Well, thank you for having me. I really like the topic of done, and I work a lot with to-do lists. I've got my personal to-do list, and then I got my business to-do list. And one thing that I noticed is that some items on the to-do list, they never go off the list. They stay there. It's usually things that I don't want to do for some reason, which is quite funny, I think. But my question is related to feeling, sometimes a to-do list becomes so big that I get lost in a feeling of being stressed out and feeling overwhelmed, especially when there are timelines or deadlines that I need to meet. And then how do I not fall into this pattern that I have of feeling stressed out and
Well,
just end up?
I'll tell you, it's based in the second principle of instantaneous transformation and the first. First one is anything you resist,
In this case, resist doing.
persists and grows stronger and dominates your to-do list. See, if you resist doing something, then it sticks around.
And it takes energy because it moves from list to list. It's on there and it takes energy, more and more energy for you to ignore that it's there. And no two things, second principle, can occupy the same Michelle at the same time. So you may be attending to one thing, but somewhere you've got, oh, I really should be doing the other thing that's on my list.
So you don't just do what you have to do, you compare how you think you should be doing it. See, if you complete something on your list, it's over. But if you don't complete it, you can keep it around and then you can be busy. And being busy is better than not being busy, isn't it? In your
Yeah, it
thoughts.
is. Yeah.
You know, and it makes you feel important that you have all this stuff to do, rather than what if life has no meaning, where there is nothing that needs to be done except in what's the words I want, an artificial reality which we have created, that there is so much to do.
For example, there are a number of people who had busy to-do lists the day before they got COVID. And then they got sick. And for a period of time, they were not capable, and the world went on without them. And they were fine. And when they came back to work was still waiting for them. So when Shai says it's artificial, in a way it is, which doesn't mean that, again, if you got sick and you have kids sitting at school, you don't want to let them sit there for 3 weeks. So you don't want to take the analogy too far. But somewhere we put a pressure on ourselves because somehow it gives our lives meaning or self-importance.
I've discovered that if I look at what needs to get done and do it, it's done. Isn't that interesting? If I look at what needs to get done and I don't do it, well, then it sticks around. And I think that might be the answer to your question. You see what needs to be done, and then you don't do it. You do something else, or you only do it partially, rather than see what needs to be done and do it, and then look for the next thing that needs to get done and do that. And pretty soon, your to-do list, whether you stop in the beginning, middle, or end, is over.
I also suspect, my computer, not that I'm really facile with all the different possibilities, but I do know that on some of my programs, I can make a list and I can make another list. And then there's a function called list merge, and it puts them together. And then I have one big long list. And I have a feeling you've merged two lists, and all it does is complexify things for you. There's an actual to-do list, which is 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, I need to deliver to my boss X, Y, and Z. And then there's the should-do list. A better me would do X, Y, Z, which has nothing to do with what is due tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. And you merge the two and you get all confused.
Yeah, that certainly rings a bell.
Yes, and you're always dissatisfied with yourself and always under pressure, not because there's a whole bunch of should do's that you have no intention to do.
Yeah, when I listen to you too, I see that there are tasks that I don't even look at. Shai, you said you look at a task, you see what needs to be done, and then you do it. And with certain tasks, I see that I'm not even looking what needs to be done. It's just a should do, like you say, Ariel, that will never get done because I don't want to do it. It's true.
Well, that I don't want to. See, you have a very strong will. You're very strong-willed. You know what you want, you know what you don't want, and you're not going to do what you don't want to do. And it's like a little bit of a temper tantrum.
But I also think you're a little now you're taking a pendulum swing where you're being a little hard on yourself also, Michelle. For instance, there have been a number of years that Shai and I have been putting together different articles that could potentially go into another book of short stories. We have two. We always have short stories in all of our books, but we have two that are in particular short story format, Being Here and then Being Here Too, as in TOO, our short stories and people from our community who contributed. So this next one that we conceived of has to do all around using the format of fishing, our fishing adventures, as a possibility to express for people the access way to the moment, talking about fishing as an analogy, or being out on the water, or our experiences. And so there was while we put it together, and I just opened the file of all of the articles that we'd written that were under consideration were put together. I believe the thing started in 2018, and in 2019 it is when it was completed. It was for a while there on my mental should do, and I put it away because I got really clear, particularly during this COVID time frame when I was doing so much remote. I had the idea, oh, this is a perfect time. I could really work on that project, but I had no desire. The desire is starting to emerge, and I'm getting interested in looking at them. I opened one randomly the other day, searching for what we wanted to do as our public article of the month. And I was really moved by this piece of writing that I'd forgotten we had written. And I thought, wow. So I got interested. It has now moved to my potential list, not even a to-do list. If it moves to my to-do list, you'll know about it.
So it'll get done.
That's great.
But, if you have a lot on your to-do list and it doesn't go away,
you're not busy enough.
That's right. You have the time to say, no, I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been really humbling for me whenever we've gotten ready to leave to do a course in Germany for short periods of time, or Costa Rica, where we're gone for a month, how much we get done in a very short, compressed period of time, because we can't do those activities while we're away and out of email range and attending to people in a residential group. It allows me to realize how much space I have between activities during the rest of the year. And if I think I'm too busy, I'm just kidding myself. Thinking takes a lot of time. Acting toward activities don't.
That's another thing. You see, you can think about what you have to do on your to-do list. You can think about it while you're eating dinner. You can think about it while you're in bed with your wife. You can think about it while you're brushing your teeth.
Or sitting in the car waiting for alternate side of the street parking to be over.
All those things, you can think about what you have to do, but it gets nothing accomplished. When you sit down to do the job, then the thinking you're doing about the job helps complete the job. But when you're thinking about how you're going to do something that's not in front of you, chances are you will not complete it in a timely manner.
Recently, I've allowed myself to be dominated by my cat. today I was typing and I heard her do her little trill. And then she jumped up into my lap. When she jumps into my lap, she likes to put her paws over one of my arms, pull it to her, and she really doesn't want me typing. If she's going to sit in my lap while I'm at my computer, I'm all hers. And I can either irritate myself, I can push her off my lap, I can type with one hand, which I did a little bit today, or I can sit there, really let go of everything, fully be with her until I've soaked up enough, she's soaked up as much as she has. And then either set her down or she gets down herself. And it's interesting when I fully let go, how much I am more capable when I come back to whatever activity I was doing before she, quote, interrupted me.
I was kind of going there. When you're busy thinking about other things or thinking about your projects while you're in the midst of something else, even when you take a break, you don't take a break. You think about what you have to do. So you might find yourself tired frequently because you haven't given yourself a genuine break from all of your projects.
Jai took the sweetest nap. And baby was sitting with him for a while, curled up. She had her head like pushed against his leg so she had no light coming in. And then she transferred herself over to me. We both took a break and we're both the better off for it. Maybe all three of us.
Yeah, this is all great information. And I can relate to so many things that you're saying. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Yeah. Oh, one last thing. Forgiveness. You need to forgive yourself. You don't need to, but it's a good idea. From not having gotten this before you got it.
Okay.
You have a rather serious approach to life. And
You can't help it, you're Swiss.
It's not really that serious. Look how much you've accomplished, including this. There's just other possibilities available.
Yeah, and you didn't even have to move your car.
Absolutely. That's true. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Hey, you want to hear about transformation? We've got one of our listeners about to tell you about what's happened in their life out of listening to being here.
Hello, I'm Anina in Switzerland. And one thing I love about transformation and the transformational community around Ariel and Shaya is that I get to meet so many lovely people all over the world. I feel so blessed and rich.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shire's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
All right. That's just me singing to myself because Friday is my birthday, but Saturday is the next Living Made Easy seminar. And then Monday, April 11th, you are invited. And then Leap into Life.
April 30th through May 1st.
That's our weekend seminar. And in June, we're doing one called New Beginnings.
June 11th and 12th.
The weekends are awesome. Yeah, people from all over the world, from Hong Kong to Switzerland, Germany, UK, US, Canada, all over the place. You are invited. They're wonderful. Hope you can make it. You can find out more and register for any and all at transformationmadeeasy.com. Also, little shout out here to Christian.
Yes, Christian.
Who is originally Swiss, but he moves around. He's currently living in Germany, and he is the person
who suggested the topic.
Done. And so now we're getting it done. Thank you for the suggestion, Christian. We really appreciate it. Should we take our next guest?
We should.
All right.
Hi.
Hi, Susan.
Where
Hi.
are you zooming in from?
I'm zooming in from Manhattan.
Welcome.
And, thank you. This is such a great title. And I listened to the first segment, which happened to be my husband. And I feel so supported just listening. I feel like I want to do something. I feel like I want to do my to-do list. But in reality, what's happening is I had oral surgery 2 weeks ago, and it really physically, I had to do a lot of resting. I think it's important that I rest, but my brain tells me I really should be doing a lot of stuff. And in a month, my mother-in-law will be visiting us from Switzerland. And yeah, she's a great lady. And she's going to stay here in the apartment with us. It's a short visit. It's 5 days. So 2 travel days. It'll only be 3 days. But I'm looking around this apartment and I feel like I should do a total renovation of the apartment, that I should redo the floors. The windowsill's not right. My to-do list with this apartment has gotten a little overwhelming. And it feels, were you going to say something?
No, well, first of all, we're looking at you, and I'm always impressed with how gorgeous your apartment is. And I know that I'm seeing it via Zoom, but I have been there in person. And what you're describing is being hard on yourself. I give you, your mother-in-law is not going to come in and look at your windowsills.
Or the floor.
It's not really a relevancy for her. It's part and parcel how you pick on yourself and your thoughts.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with right now while you're still in physical recovery mode, because that particular oral surgery was very intrusive, for you to be doing things in bursts. You know, I've got 5 minutes worth of energy right now. Where do I want to direct it? As opposed to have the idea of I want to be how I used to be, fully functional.
Right.
Trust yourself to go beyond your physicality.
Yes. That makes sense. Cool.
Look, your apartment is great. I mean, I look at you on the Zoom call and your background is a work of art.
You see
Really?
the cat? We got the cat right back there too.
Oh, I see the cat back there.
Even
I didn't see it while you were in front of
but
it.
even your cat's relaxed.
So, you know,
I've heard that cats sleep up to 20 hours a day.
Yes.
And they get a lot done in a day.
well, you know, if you just did what you had to do without thinking about what you have to do before you do it, you get a lot more done in a day too. But you spend a lot of your time, like a cat sleeping, thinking about what you have to do, not doing what you have to do. If you just shift it to do what needs to be done, it'll get done very quickly.
I love that.
I'm amazed how much I can get done in very little time just by doing what's right in front of me that needs doing.
That being said, we are pre-programmed to think what being productive looks like and it rarely looks like how we are being and what we are doing. So here you are with us. You are doing something right now. You're being on this podcast, something that's important to you.
Right.
And yet your mind discounts it as an activity because it doesn't fit in your picture of getting things done.
That's true, because it's also, this is fun. And I have,
Let me ask you a question.
yeah.
Have you had a project that you completed and then felt better about yourself because it was complete?
Maybe for a minute
That's right.
when
But
I completed it.
then don't you start picking on yourself that you need to be doing more?
The next thing,
That's true. Or I'll go back to that project and say, well, that was good, but now I see I could have done this and that. Yes, that's true.
well,
So
you're talking about the whack-a-mole approach to time and project management.
What is that?
Whack-a-mole was a game where you'd hit on this mole type of object that came up out of a hole, and it would go down,
It's an
but another
arcade
one would
game.
pop up.
So you'd have
Okay,
a
yeah.
hammer type or mallet thing, and as soon as you whacked one would pop up someplace else. And the game was to see how many moles, or basically these imitation mechanical buggers that came up out of a little hole in an allotted amount of time. So if you put in your quarter and you have 30 seconds or a minute, it pops up, you whack it, another one pops up over there, you whack it, and the more you whack, the more points you get. But it doesn't matter how many you whack, because as soon as you whack one, the next one's going to pop up, and that's the game itself.
Right.
Sounds like life.
Or
Yes.
the possibility of being here, Susan.
Satisfaction, Susan.
Satisfaction
Being okay
first.
with you the way you are, not you'll be better when you get that done.
And just as a point of noticeability, the internal programming will not leave. So from time to time, I'll say to Shai, it's okay if I'm lazy right now. And of course, he always says yes, or vice versa. Because in our minds, taking a nap or sitting down with a book or maybe watching a little TV during the day, God forbid, all of that is in the category
Bad.
lazy, bad, irresponsible.
Not the
Yes.
good category. The other thing is this: you have the idea that if you do take a break, you'll get complacent.
Yes.
And you're constantly driving yourself. You know, I've noticed something very interesting about myself recently. I just recently turned 81. And now my thoughts judge how I do things because I'm getting older. So, you know, that egg slipped out of my hand when I was taking it out of the egg case to break it to make eggs this morning. You know, and well, in fact, I moved on before. I was like a football player heading for the goal before I made the catch. You know,
You took your eye off the
I took-
ball,
I
or
took
in
my
this
eye
case,
off the
the
ball,
egg.
right. And you know, so I missed it. But I run it through. Oh, that's because I'm getting older, rather than I just got ahead of myself. And even if I got ahead of myself, I'm not so bad.
So if you have an idea about yourself, you can run through, oh, I'm not doing this today because I had oral surgery.
Right.
Or I'm not doing this today because I'm lazy. Or I'm not doing this today. I'm not doing this right now because. And then
I don't wanna.
Uh-huh. That's great. Yes.
What if you're perfect?
Exactly the way you are.
And exactly the way you're not,
That's right.
which may be from time to time not particularly energized.
You know, your body has its own rhythms. You wake up in the morning one day and you have energy. You wake up in the next day, you're not as energetic. Doesn't mean anything. It just means you're not as energetic.
Right.
Actually, the other day I said to Shai something, wow, this was a really great day. I got a lot done. And he's like, oh, I didn't get that much done. And then I thought about it, and I said, Shai, I actually didn't articulate that very well. It wasn't a great day because I got a lot done. It was a great day. I felt so fully engaged with everything I did, and those things I did tended to get done. But it's not about the amount I accomplished in that day. And part of my satisfaction was enjoying the fact that Shia took a nap, and I could feel how content he was in that moment. And I knew he was well taken care of. And it wasn't that he should be doing more. It was the perfection of the moment and everything it included, including him taking a nap on that day. It was wonderful. Life is wonderful when you step into it fully as if it's your idea, the way it's showing up.
The other thing is this, it could only show up the way it's showing up. You don't have an alternative. When you don't feel like doing something, that's your moment. When you do something, that's your moment.
When you're excited,
That's your moment. When you're down, that's your moment. Rather than, if you don't blame it on the circumstances, then it clears very quickly. I don't have much energy today. Okay. Ooh, I've got some energy now. But you waste a lot of energy thinking you should have more energy than you have.
True.
Rather than just enjoy being you the way you are.
I love that.
While I'm looking at it, I realize the day this airs, it'll be your dad's 91st birthday the day after. So shout out to your dad.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Dad. 91.
Yep, Bob will be 91, and we're so grateful to him because without him, we wouldn't have you.
Oh, thank you.
Done.
Done. Check.
Yeah. Thanks for being with us today.
Yes.
Thank you both so much.
Our pleasure. If you want to be a guest like Susan or Michelle, or you want to submit a listener spotlight, just go to transformationmadeeasy.com/being here and find out how. Next week's podcast.
Your big, big heart.
We'll be back next week.
So come on back.
And don't miss
being here.